Hi everyone, this video is a demonstration of the new functionality in the SyncFramework. So basically it will be about how you create a SAF application with an offline client. So far what we have in the past is basically you need to implement the SyncFramework by hand. You need to register the providers, then create the Xamarin application, create a sync server. And that is somehow time consuming, especially if you want to just give it a quick test drive. So for that, we will publish an application template. So far we are in the testing stages. So it might change a little bit before what I'm going to show you and the final release. But this will be released on the next version of the SyncFramework. So, okay, let me show you what I have here. So here we have an empty folder basically, and I'm going to delete the databases because I have created databases for that application already. So the database is new ERP. Let me delete this one. And then we delete the deltas also. Perfect. So let's refresh just in case. So far so good. So in this case, we are not using a Visual Studio template. We're using the CLI, which is basically the command line in general. So let's open a command prompt. This command prompt is in the same folder as this folder that I'm showing you here. So this is the line that basically we need. So it's .NET new. This is the ID of the template. So it's a Xaf offline synchronization template. And the name that we're going to use in this case is new ERP, because everyone wants to do ERPs. So you can do an offline ERP with mobile. So let's run this. And there you have it. It's like really easy, right? So you go to the folder and it basically created a SAF application for you. So is this folder, the module base or the module win and the application win. This is SAF. And then you have the synchronization server and the Xamarin application here. So let's open the solution. So here we have the solution, and let me show you how it's grouped. Basically, this is the SAF application. The web application for this solution or for this project in general is a Blazor application. So we didn't include web forms in this case, and we will not include it actually at all. And then the Win application is a Net5 application. So basically everything is Net5 here. So let me show you the projects. See, the target is Net5 Windows. And in the module, we had to do a little small modification. Basically, this original is compiled for Net5. But if you compile for Net5, you cannot use it in Xamarin. So we changed it back to Net Standard in this case. And there is another change that we have done in this SAF application, which is basically a file new application. It's like what you get from the wizard. We have changed the references to use variables. So you can easily update everything in just one line. And let me show you how this works in general. So if you go to the solution items in the solution, you will have this directory build props. So in here, you have basically a variable for each part of the project. So in this case, Devexpress version will be 21.1.3. So this is the value that's going to be placed in here. So instead of going nuget by nuget or project by project, you just change it in this XML, and then it will basically change in each part of the solution that needs to be changed in general. So also the same goes for the SyncFramework. SyncFramework is needed for the application and for the sync server. So instead of changing it manually, you can just change it here and it will work in general. So that's kind of save a lot of time. Then for the mobile application, this is a Prism application. And I don't know if we're going to include UWP in the end, but so far we have UWP. And basically, let me show you how this looks like. We have a reference here for the module. And after that, it's only everything that Xamarin needs or the SyncFramework needs. And basically, we're sharing the ORM that is defined in the module here. In this case, in the new SAF version, in version 21, you don't use permission policy user, you use application user, which inherits from permission policy user in the end. So you need to take that in consideration. Let's close this. And then if we check the sync server, this is basically an empty ASP.NET Core web application. The only modification is in the startup, which are like these 3 lines, and just 1 line here in the program. Let me show you where the line is. Oh no, we don't need the line anymore. It's in the old template. So far so good. And then we have the controller, and this is the sync controller. And we have like the default implementation that is overridden just to show you that you can override that method and you can do whatever you want in here. And here we have the sample code that is running in that method actually. So if you want to debug or see what is happening inside of the synchronization method, you can just remove the comment from here and comment this other method out, and then you will see it. So we're trying to give you all the tools so you can do a synchronization test in basically like 5 minutes or less than that. So that's it. That's basically everything that we need. In the instructions that we will publish, we will tell you which files to modify. But in general, even the connections string are set already for you. So if you check the sync server and you check the connection string, you will see that the connection string is already pointing to the synchronization data store. That is the one that we use for offline synchronization. And we already have like the 2 databases, one for the data and one for the deltas. And the identity of this is master. So the same goes for the application. So if I show you this, it's already aiming to the same application as the sync server. So even you don't even need to change that in any case. It's like you just create the application with the command line and everything is done for you. So that's like kind of really neat. It saves a lot of time. So let's close all of this and let's build this for first time. And since this includes a Xamarin application, sometimes you have these strange errors in the output, but you know, if you have used Xamarin before, you know that sometimes it outputs errors in the console for no reason at all. There are not actually errors. I don't know, it's a problem with the tooling, I guess. So it's compiling now, and let's wait a little bit. And before I run it, let me show you something. So in here we have this class, the XPO helper. And basically, this helps you to connect to the offline data store. It says the URL for you to send and receive deltas, like those are the database differences in general. And also, it helps you to log in with a SAF user. So the idea here is that the unit of work or the object space that you're going to produce inside of your Xamarin application will use SAF security system. So if you log in as an admin, basically you have the same permission as the admin. If you log in as a salesperson, you will have the permissions that you define for the salesperson in the SAF application. So that's really neat because you can control the security system and you don't have to do that in your mobile application anymore. You get it from SAF. So that's a kind of really neat solution, I would say, because in here you can create a small offline application in 5 minutes. So let's close all of this. And basically what you need to do right now is just set the URL for, so for the mobile application to communicate with the sync server. So to do that, at least in this case, it might not be the official release like this, but in this case, it's like this. You go to the SyncFramework test view model. So we added a page basically so you can test the synchronization. And in here, see, this is the problem with Xamarin, that you have like all these red lines for nothing. You just need to change this URL, and that's the only thing that you need to do. So there are some ways to communicate the Android emulator, for example, with the local host in your computer. But most of the time, that doesn't work. I tried in several computers. I tried several times also, and I managed to make it work like just 1 or 2 times, actually. So for that, I mean, instead of spending so long time trying to make the emulators hit the local host, the easiest way is to basically go to tools and install this extension, which is nrock. So this will create a tunnel. So it will forward the public request to the private request in your local IIS or your local web application. So before I do this, let me do something. Basically, nrock will create 2 HTTP tunnels. It will create one for the Blazor application and one for the Sync server. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unload the Blazor application, because otherwise we will have like 4 different URLs, and then you don't know in which order they came. So you might set the wrong address. So just to make it easier, let me unload this. And let's run nrock now. Okay, guys, so I need to restart the studio because nrock was not working. So let me start a new tunnel right now. And now it's working. See, these URLs that we have are basically being forwarded to the Sync server here. So in this case, I'm going to get the HTTP URL from here. And then I will copy that to the Xamarin project and to that view model that I showed you before. So in here, I will put that here. Great. So let me show you what will happen in that method. Basically, you register the XPO provider. This is our XPO provider who handles the offline synchronization. Then you turn off the configuration manager just in case, because Windows application or all net framework application use the configuration manager, and net core and Xamarin doesn't use it. So it's better to turn it off. And then basically we register the types that we're going to use in our XAF application. There is only one type that we created, that is the sync person. So if we go and check the sync person, it's basically a class with code, full name, and picture, and that's it. And after that, basically we get a connection string for the data, a connection string for the deltas, and then we create a connection string for the offline synchronization data store. So we pass the connection string for data, the connection string for delta. We pass an identity, which basically is something that to identify each client. So you know what this client is missing in comparison with the master, for example, or in comparison with another client. And then with that, basically we initialize the synchronization helper. We synchronize for first time, and then we log in basically in XAF. So it will use the local database, because that will contain all the roles and user information that comes from the XAF application, because that's included in the information that we are synchronizing. Then we clear the people collection that we have here, this one, and we do something really simple. Basically, we get all the sync persons that we have, and then we iterate through them, and we change the code to the value mobile, and we pass the number of ticks that are in the daytime. In that case, you will know when it changed, so the numbers will change all the time. And then we commit and we sync again. That's basically the idea. This is not using a direct connection to the server, it's saving everything locally. And then when the sync method is executed, it sends it to the server. So let's run this and see how this goes. So for that, you come here to the startup, you do multiple startup. We will start the Windows application, the sync server, and we're going to start the Android application also. So let's run this. And by the way, actually, this template includes everything that you need for your application to save local data in SQLite, which is basically the only database that runs in mobile. So at the moment, this will basically create the SAF database because we didn't have one for this application. It will connect the sync server and it will start the Xamarin application. So then we will create a few sync persons and execute the synchronize method on the Android emulator. And I get that's it. It's going to load the application now because it's doing the deployment, as you can see here. Okay, so basically this URL is being forwarded with nrock to this URL, and the emulator is trying to communicate with this URL, and this will basically send the information here. So let's log in as admin. And we have so far nothing here. And let's go to the mobile application. And here we only have this button at the moment. So I will do a synchronization and you will see that that will do a call to the API. So sync, and it will show here that it's connected to the sync method. See, it did a call and it was successful. But at the moment, there is nothing to synchronize. I mean, at the moment, I already copy all the information for the users and for the role. That the only thing that we have on SAF side. And if I'll show you what we have so far, let me refresh this. Let's go to the deltas database. And if we check the deltas, we already have like 11 deltas. So those are commits that have been done to the object space that SAF is using. Every time that you commit, a delta is saved. So now let's create some persons. And this will be the great one, Javier. Save a new. This will be Jasma. This will be Oniel. Ismail, if you're watching this and I'm writing your name incorrectly, sorry for that. I always forget how to write it. So I think it's like this. And save and close. So we have four sync persons here. So I'm going to do another synchronization. This login again in SAF and then pull the data, and we will show it in a list view here. And also, as I showed you before, in the loop, it basically go and change the code of the user. So basically, see, when I refresh this, you will see that it changed. So if I sync again, it will loop back to the customers that we have or the sync persons that we have in the mobile application. And then it will change the code for something like mobile plus the number of sticks that we have. So let's change it again. And you will see that there is a new request here. And it's done. If I refresh this, remember it was 60, 70, 490. So see, it doesn't match when I refresh. This should basically match. And yep. So as you can see, it's like kind of really easy to implement a test project with the offline synchronization. You only have to make a new project with the .NET new command. Then you change the URL with something like nrock, or maybe your emulator is able to see localhost. So you can only put the localhost address. And that's it. It's like you can make a test in 5 minutes. So right now, the current version that we have of the SyncFramework is 24. So this will be released for version 25 or 26 because those are like really small build that we have releases. So in the next basically major release for us, it will include this template. So that's everything for this video, guys. If you have any doubt, you can just write me in the comments of the video or send me an email. My information is at the beginning of the this video. So take care and see you guys on the next video. Bye.